My name is Hartley Dagador, and you're listening to Wake Up with Wonder Podcast, where my daddy shares with you the gift of wonder.
You are listening to the most wondrous podcast on Apple Podcasts. This is episode number 68, but before we get started, I would like to clarify there are multiple times where we reference YouTube and we reference Instagram Live. We originally recorded this via Instagram Live, and we had a backup audio recording. Good thing we had a backup because the phone died and we lost the Instagram Live video. So unfortunately, we were not able to upload it to YouTube, but going forward, we will make sure to have all our bases covered so we can get those videos out for these interview shows. With that being said, let's get right to the show. We look at the wonder inside of ourselves, and we look at the fact that we all have bits and pieces of wonder. And this is actually an interview episode where I sit down with a wonderful person who happens to be doing wonderful things in the world.
Oh, awesome.
So this right here is my friend Tyla. I've had the privilege of knowing Tyla almost 15 years or so now.
Yes.
It's been a long journey. It's been cool.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Definitely. And Tyla is a MLT, a lab technician.
Yes.
She is also the founder and the creator of Phemibox.
Yes, which we have here.
There we go.
On the shirt.
And that's what we're here to talk about today is the Phemibox. And then the Phemibox, their logo is the PH. I don't know if you guys can see it.
Yes.
So Tyla, how long ago did the Phemibox come about? When did it start?
Honestly, I think Phemibox, I can't even put an exact date to it. I think I've kind of just been tossing around an idea of starting my own company. Although I started off kind of as just doing science, I never really knew how to create my own company or website. I ended up just maybe about a month and a half ago coming up with this concept and running it past a couple of my doctors and seeing what they thought about it, and I just took it and ran with it.
That's awesome. So about a month and a half ago.
Yeah, about a month and a half ago.
And in the first month and a half, I mean, I'm sure you've helped many women already, right?
Oh, yes. Especially younger women. You'd be surprised how many young women we have that are a little shy about these certain subjects or these types of subjects with their lady parts. They don't really have anyone to talk to about it. So we actually use Femi as a resource for women to reach out to us and young women to reach out to us for anything that they may, or any questions they may have.
That's beautiful. So it's just an opportunity to really spark conversation and open the doors for young women about their body and their health as they get older.
Exactly.
Lovely.
Yeah.
So before we talk more about Phemibox, I just wanted to talk about your journey leading up to Phemibox. So as long as I've known you, I know that you've been in school for quite a long time. It's been quite a journey for you.
Oh my God, yes. It's been quite the exciting, fun, up and down, but very well worth it journey.
But it's almost over, right?
Yes, almost over, but I'll probably keep going. Learning isn't something that you just stop doing. Once you get a diploma or a certificate, you kind of just keep going.
Keep going. I'm in the middle of my master's, and I'm starting to wonder like what's going to be next.
Exactly.
So I actually have a 7-page paper to write tonight after this, unfortunately.
Ouch.
Yeah. So for me, being in a master's program, it's a business master's. About halfway through the program, or like maybe a third of the way through, I realized all this stuff I'm learning, it's not being applied, it's not being integrated. And that was how I started a podcast. I wanted to apply all the stuff I was learning in business, and I wanted to essentially start my own business, and I started a coaching practice in business around the podcast. Is that what happened with you to Phemibox? Like what created that idea? Was it that you wanted to just start a business, that you knew you had the skills? What was it?
Honestly, no. What got me started with Phemibox was just honestly knowledge. When you have knowledge, you have the power to use that knowledge in different ways. I just saw a need for something, and I used the knowledge that I had to try to give other people knowledge so that they can take care of themselves, especially during COVID. So that's how Phemibox became what it is today. It's meant to actually help people right now, or women more specifically, that can't make it to the doctor for not because they don't have insurance or because they would prefer not to get sick, or for the other vast reasons people aren't using our healthcare right now, which is a totally different subject, but
the whole coronavirus.
So that's initially how that started.
So let's take this opportunity then, and let's maybe show the listeners that are watching on YouTube or even on Instagram Live.
Yes.
If you are watching, drop a comment. Feel free to shout out. Let's show them what's inside of the box and all of these products that they would be getting. Can we do that?
Sure, of course. So this is the Phemibox. Femi is spelled PH. For my science and STEM nerds out there, the PH is, of course, in the periodic table format for my co-chemists. So what you actually get when you order the Phemibox, you get a sterile urine cup for you to put your urine in. You don't have to fill this up all the way to the top. I stress that in the directions that Jason is holding in his hand. You get a transfer pipette to transfer your urine from the cup into or onto these reagent pads. So when I say that knowledge is power, you can go to CVS and purchase these tests individually for about $15 each. So if you know that knowledge is power, you know that your pH determines whether or not you have a yeast infection, a bacterial infection, or if you have nitrates, which is another test we have, or white blood cells, you have a urinary tract infection. So the point again for Femi, my whole mission is to have women be able to educate themselves. We also include pH balancing wipes for when you're on the go, when you're out dancing, when Corona's over and you're out sweating, you want to have a quick little wipe. Those are for you. We also include a trial of our monthly subscription tampons. We offer subscriptions for them. You can pay $15 a month to have them delivered to your doorstep, as well as the pH wipes. And
so it's $15 a month for the whole box?
No, it's $15 a month for the pH wipes, the tampons, as well as my favorite, the probiotics. So when you order the $30 kit, which this kit, the test kit in combination is $30 right now. We will be offering a promo code, so follow Femi for that promo. We offer a trial of clinically proven probiotics to get you started if you do test positive for a UTI. And that's what we include in our box.
And I love that it's super simple. As I'm reading through your brochure, I see that all the tests are literally 3 steps or less. You have all the normal pH levels outlined, and you have the side effects if the pH was out of balance. You have what that would mean for them, right?
Exactly. Knowledge is power.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for sharing. So, in terms of young women, because young women is right now your target audience.
Yes.
For men like myself who happen to be fathers and have young daughters that are getting closer to that puberty age, can you give us some advice in terms of how we can support them through this time, maybe how we can have open conversations with them about these types of things?
Oh, definitely. I'm glad you asked.
Yeah, we want to help more than just the girls. We want to help the men too.
I would love to help Hartley if she ever needs it. But yeah, if for men, I think that are taking care of younger women, I think it's important for men to know to always get young women cotton underwear. It's really important. Douching, it was a fad back in the 90s. A lot of women were doing it. That's when you completely cleanse your vagina of all of its normal flora. That is not okay because you're leaving room for the problematic bacteria to grow, which causes these infections. So always use cotton underwear. Don't use the fragranted. I know it smells really good. It's nice to get the Victoria's Secret fragranted body washes, but honestly, they do nothing but throw your body's pH levels off, and they may smell good for a little while, but it'll just send you into the land of infection.
So just get like natural, like fragrance-free?
Yes, natural fragrance-free Dove. Those are really good, and I like Summer's Eve for anyone that is having any problems right now. Go get Summer's Eve body wash. They're really good at fixing any vaginal discomfort.
You guys got it. Summer's Eve. They're not a sponsor of this show,
no,
but
they're not.
Their body wash works, according to Tyla.
Femi, we will eventually have our own body washes and all that stuff once I have my own lab and sponsorships. We're working on that. We have a whole plan coming along, but for right now, Summer's Eve.
Got it. Okay, Summer's Eve. So now, my daughter, it's easy to say don't buy the scented stuff, buy the natural, the fragrance-free.
Yes.
But you know when you were a little kid, when you were like 12, 13, 15, you really wanted that smell good stuff most likely.
Yes.
I could be wrong, but...
Yes.
Yeah, so, like, how can I help her see the importance of just getting the natural stuff and not picking that smell good stuff?
Oh my God, that's a very good question. Honestly, what I would do, I would let her know that you're not going to do anything but wash that stuff off. At the end of the day, at least you should be thoroughly washing your lady parts enough to get all of the soap off, so that fragrance shouldn't really be there. If it is, that means you haven't washed thoroughly enough. Secondly, if you want that fragrance, just buy the lotion. The lotion is what you can use that will stay on far longer than the fragranted soap of whatever you're using.
Got it. And she loves to take baths. Is there like essential oils or anything I could put into her bath that might help her?
I'm not entirely sure, to be honest with you. I do not recommend putting any type of essential oils or anything like that into your vagina. The vagina is extraordinarily sensitive. It cleans itself. Putting anything like that in there is just going to set off your vagina. It's a monster if you do that.
Good to
set
know.
It off. It can be mean. It can be great, but it can be mean.
Yeah, we definitely don't want no vagina irritations.
No mean vaginas.
So we've helped the men who are fathers and have younger daughters. Let's see if we can help the men who have wives or spouses. Are there any tips or advice you can give them in terms of supporting their spouse or their partner through this special time, whatever that may look like?
Honestly, I would just say kind of educate yourself. Don't make things a stigma. I'm pretty lucky that I have a great husband, and I created this box because I don't have, I have an understanding of the vagina enough to know how to prevent these problems. So I would just say to educate yourself, because the only reason why women get UTIs and these infections more than men is solely because of the close proximity of the vagina to the anus. There is no other reason. It's not that women are gross. It's not that women have this horrible thing going on with them. It's solely because of the close proximity of the anatomy.
That's good to know. So just be educated, understand, and that's kind of why we're here doing this video, so that men can get a clue, literally, like myself. So you said men get UTIs too. I always thought that was a myth, that men don't get UTIs, but they do?
Yes, they do. Men do get upper and lower urinary tract infections. I'm not entirely... You could use my test, because my test is not sex or gender disassociative or genderly specific. You can still test your urine, a male's urine, with my pH test and still have the results still tell you if you're more on the basic side or more on the acidic side. But you'd want to check other references for those pH levels according to men's urine.
Definitely.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's not why we're here. I was just wondering. Okay. I've heard that myth that men can't get UTIs. And another myth that I've heard about men and UTIs, maybe you can clarify this. I heard that if a man takes a pregnancy test, and that if they pee on a pregnancy test strip and it comes back positive saying a man is pregnant, I heard all that means is that they actually have a UTI and they don't even know about it.
I don't know about that, because the pregnancy test detects the pregnancy hormone. So I don't understand how that would have any association.
All right, quick update in regards to the pregnancy test for men. So if a man was to take a pregnancy test, what it tests for is for elevated levels of HCG, which is the hormone human chorionic gonadotropin. Yeah, try saying that 3 times fast. This is the pregnancy hormone, but if a male was to test positive for a pregnancy test, meaning he had elevated levels of HCG, there is a possibility that it could determine testicular cancer. So if that was the case, while you could potentially have testicular cancer, it's best to double check with an actual medical doctor by having a blood test taken. This is not medical advice. I was just clarifying that myth and saying that it is not a myth, it is true. So there's that, according to WebMD. Let's get back to the show.
If you have any other questions, you can always follow Phemibox. That's at PHEMIBOX. That is on Instagram. You can also visit our website. It's phemibox.com. I'll actually maybe...
Yeah, I'll put all that in the show notes, guys. Awesome. So at the end of the show, we'll recap all the websites, all the places you can learn more about this awesome product. You can learn more about Tyla and her company, and everything that we recap, it will be listed in the show notes, whether you're going to be watching on YouTube when it's published or whether you're going to be watching on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts. It's all going to be in the show notes.
Awesome.
Perfect.
That makes me happy.
Yeah,
So I don't have to say it.
We'll cover it, but its bases are covered. So,
Beans.
where else do you see Phemibox going in the future? Because you mentioned that it's more than like Phemibox; it's literally just Femi products.
Yes, so Phemibox is actually just our anchoring point. We're landing with Phemibox. Phemi LLC is actually what the company's name is. We plan on doing a lot of different things. I'm actually going to be a clinical laboratory scientist, a licensed scientist at that point. So then I can open my own lab. We can have our reagent strips, maybe work with Planned Parenthood. I mean, honestly, the world is your oyster as long as you're a wanderer.
As long as you're a wanderer. I love it. And you're definitely a wanderer.
Yeah.
I appreciate that about you.
Mm-hmm.
So, little girls who want to follow their dreams, but who don't know how. Like, I'm sure 10 years ago when you first got into chemistry and you first started your college journey, I'm sure you had no clue how to create a box like this, even though all the products, you were able to find them now.
Yes.
So, like, where would a little girl start, like, who's maybe 15, maybe 18, ready to start their business and start following their dreams? Any tips?
If you want to tell Hartley to call me. I'm just kidding. No, any young girl that wants to start a business or anyone that wants to start a business, I would honestly say just take the first steps. Not to misquote Martin Luther King because I'm not exactly sure how he says it, but as long as you take the first step, the rest of the staircase, don't pay attention to that. Don't overwhelm yourself with it. Take the first step. If you're not sure how to do something, there's so many resources now. I had no idea how to do web design, but if you want to do something enough, you can figure out how to do it, and that will basically build your character and define who you are as a person. So when you're young, you find out what you want to do, you find your niche, you ask around, find mentors, and then go from there.
I love that you said mentors. Mentors, coaches, colleagues, people that have basically done it before and that we can just kind of follow in their footsteps and learn from, because success leaves clues.
Exactly.
Definitely. So, in terms of Phemibox, I did want to ask you, I actually want to ask you a little bit about your college journey, because it's taken a lot of turns. So originally, I don't think you were a chemist when I first knew you in college.
No way. I was too
Where did you start at?
I actually started wanting to be a surgeon. I wanted to be a cardiothoracic surgeon. That was my thing. I wanted to be in the operating room, performing surgeries on the heart. I learned the anatomy, the physiology. I was obsessed with it, honestly. So I went to a bunch of pre-med conferences. I met a lot of mentors, a lot of women, African-American women as well, that were cardiothoracic surgeons. And in making those connections, I found that maybe just wasn't the path that I wanted to go in. So that's why it's also important to find mentors, because they can let you know if that's also the path for you. So I ended up taking a sharp left and going towards nursing. I wanted to do that because I decided just maybe I'll do a shorter time period in school. I had already finished my pre-science courses. So then I became an EMT to fulfill those requirements, and then I learned that I did not like working with patients as much as I initially thought I did. So then I realized that, I love science still. There has to be something, there has to be a place for me in this world, in this big, wide scientific world. And I ended up meeting a microbiologist at a nutritional company where I spoke to people about diabetes. And then I became a GIST, which is the person that becomes a specialized scientist. So I went to the immunologist, the virologist. Now I'm at the chemist.
Got it. So you're in like a specialized field of science, essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so just as your journey throughout school and throughout your field of studies has changed, I'm sure that during that time your friendships have also changed.
Oh, yes.
For me, being a podcaster, I've definitely had to reevaluate a lot of my close friendships. I've had to distance myself from some of the people that I thought were literally best friends. I've made whole new circles of friends. My closest friends now don't even live in this state and like we talk more than any of my friends that I had before.
Really?
Yeah, it's really crazy
That's
how that
pretty awesome,
happens.
though, honestly.
Yeah, I have friends in 6 countries that I talk to because of podcasting.
That's awesome. You should go to those countries. Well, when we're done, when they let us in.
I will one day.
When
the
they
first
let us
one's
in.
Argentina because I have family in Argentina. Shout out to Carlitos, the Good Times podcast.
Woo!
All right, good times, exactly. So can you just share how like your friends played a role in helping support you throughout this business? Whether it was old friends or new friends, how did that work out?
So old friends taught me who I wanted to become.
Okay.
I think it's important for people to understand that if you hang around 5 people that are always talking negatively, most likely you're going to be the 6th.
Yeah.
That's kind of just how it goes. So once I decided to shift from that, I saw that really wasn't working in my favor. I started making new connections with people, and now I have an amazing support group. I had a whole bunch of girls. Shout out to all my friends that came out to the Phemibox photo shoot. I love you guys forever.com. Okay? Phemibox.com. Anyways, yeah, so now I have a great support system, and now they have my back, the group of women, and I'm so thankful for that, and I think it's important for people to make sure that they keep a good, solid foundation and group around them.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And did they help? You said they helped you with the launch. Did they help you like the process of creating the box or like any other business aspects, maybe like designing or?
I am an alpha female.
Okay.
I am a type A personality. So, no.
You had to make sure it was all perfect.
Yeah, it's all me. I couldn't even hire a web designer. I couldn't hire a creative director. I had to do everything myself just because I believe there's too many hands in the pot, then.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I respect you for taking it all on yourself. You do have a wonderful husband who I'm sure would be happy to support you.
He does in all the ways. Shout out to my husband.
Awesome. And I would just like to have you consider the possibility, though, that at some point as Phemibox grows and becomes more prolific and helps more people,
Yes.
you're going to have to be accepting of help. And that's why you have these awesome friends and you're building this team around yourself.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
and I think that's important for everybody to know is that whether it's mentors, whether it's friends, whether it's coaches, that we need to build teams around ourselves and we need to reevaluate our circle, our 5 closest friends, like Tyla said.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to make sure that
Yes.
not only are we like making those friends better, but that those friends are making us better.
Absolutely. I can't stress that enough. I cannot stress that enough. It's very important, especially with women. It's extraordinarily important that you surround yourself with like-minded individuals.
Amen.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I think we've touched just about everything we want to talk about. Is there something that I missed or maybe something you want to share with the audience that we didn't talk about?
Nothing really, just stay tuned. Keep watching Femi. We have so many amazing things in store that we're trying to get lined up, so many creative ideas that we're coming out with. We're going to launch a discount code. Follow us. We're Phemibox on Instagram, and you can see us at phemibox.com.
Cool. So Tyla, before we get going, I always ask one last question on every single podcast episode.
I'm so scared.
And this is the same question every time. So if you had been listening, you would know.
No, I know. I'm just trying to give you the sense of surprise. Like, I'm really trying to...
So before I ask you this question, though,
Yeah.
I had this really awesome idea of using this last question because it's the same question on every interview and creating a last question sponsor. So before I ask you the last question, if you'd be interested going forward in the future, I'd be more than happy to have you as a last question sponsor. And essentially what that means is I'm gonna have a PayPal account for the show, and anybody who wants to support the podcast and donate, they can donate to the PayPal account.
Okay.
And then whoever makes the highest donation leading up to that show, whether it's a week or a 2-week period, is gonna receive some type of a gift or some type of a piece of value from the last show sponsor. So it's really the last show sponsor's way of giving their product out there, of supporting the listeners and just giving back.
Oh my God, that's such a grand idea.
Awesome.
Why didn't you tell me that before? I could have totally had a whole thing spieled, but yes, I would love to do that.
Beautiful. So I'm excited that next show, let's just start now. This show, Phemibox, is our last show sponsor.
Awesome.
Our last question sponsor. And the last question, Tyla, is going to be, what is your personal definition of the word wonder? Or what does wonder mean to you?
Wonder means someone who, not that they are lost, but someone who is just constantly on the search. I'm a wanderer. I'm constantly on the search for knowledge. Anyone that wants to just better themselves, you're a wanderer. Either you're wandering from continent to continent, whatever it is, you're just trying to gain something. Someone that's looking to gain something.
Someone that's looking. I like that definition. Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. And I believe wanderers are always looking. Mm-hmm. And I think the point of this podcast is to show that wanderers, sometimes we get lost looking around us, like you said, looking on different continents, mm-hmm. looking on social media, looking to our mentors, to our colleagues.
Oh, yes.
But ultimately, if you didn't look within yourself and you didn't bring the ideas out of yourself, you wouldn't have had this box here today.
Absolutely.
So ultimately, I like you guys to consider that the wonder that you guys are looking for, it's really just right inside of you the whole time. Beautiful.
That was, oh my God, can you sign my arm?
Cool, guys. So that was it. You guys have it. This was Tyla, the founder and creator of Phemibox. If you guys want to learn more, it's going to be in the show notes, but you can visit phemibox.com, mm-hmm. or you can go Instagram, Phemibox. Mm-hmm. So that's how you guys can learn more about them. My name was Jason. And just remember, guys, you guys are the wonder you want to see in the world. And if you guys want to learn more about the podcast, you can visit wakeupwithwonder.com. Have a wonderful day.
All right. Thank you,
See
Jason.
ya. Thank you, Tyla.
You're the best.
All right, everyone. There you have it. That was the interview with Tyla from Phemibox. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm extremely appreciative. And if you'd like to receive more valuable episodes, just hit the subscribe button on iTunes or the follow button on Spotify. That'll definitely make sure you get all the upcoming episodes. Now, if you want to be a Last Question sponsor on our upcoming Friendly Friday interview, which is going to be coming out next week, all you have to do is send your preferred donation amount to paypalme.com/wakeupwithwonder. Now, any donation amount is going to qualify you to be the Last Question sponsor. However, whoever donates the most amount of money will win the raffle to be the Last Question sponsor. And as the Last Question sponsor, not only do you get mentioned in the final question as a way for marketing, you also get the opportunity to win a gift or some piece of value from Phemibox. So once again, that was paypalme.com/wakeupwithwonder. Have a wonderful day.